So you've created your videos and it's time to edit. You're so excited, but now you're blocked. What are you going to do? I recommend you have a look at Filmora. Filmora is very versatile, it's very low cost, and it's on Mac, it's on PC, it's on Android app, it's on iPhone app. I'm not a trained editor. I taught myself and now I create professional videos using Adobe Premiere Pro, but it was a very steep learning curve and I've been using that now for about 4 years, so I know it quite well, but I also have a team of editors. If you're not convinced, take a look. I'm going to show you how you can turn your videos into amazing videos using Filmora, and it's easy. You don't need to be technically minded to make this work for you. So this is what the empty screen looks like. Here is where we import our clips we want to edit, and this is the preview screen. So the first job is to drag over some clips from my desktop. I'm just selecting some short clips that won't take up too much time. I'm going to just bring over 2 clips. And there they are. So what I'm going to do now is bring them down into, this is our editing area here at the bottom. Now the first line here, the top line, is your starting point, and then you layer things in as you work down. So I'm going to put this clip in first, and then followed by this clip. And what you can do is, because this is quite short, you can see here on the ruler, I've got just over 1 minute. To make my life easier, I can expand or contract how I'm viewing the clip. So I can make this stretch further across the screen. So you can see the 1 minute marker is still here. Now, if this was a 10-minute edit I was putting together, I could bring it all the way down here so that I would then see 10 minutes on the ruler. And that clip's made much smaller. It's quite handy. You'll get used to expanding and contracting depending on what you're doing. But I always like my starting point to be where I've got a screen full as much as possible on the entire edit. So this is highlighted green at the moment because I've selected that clip, and now I've moved it to that clip, and now I've clicked off, so nothing is selected. So let me just tell you where things are. So along the side here on the left, these are your functions, and the functions along here at the top also. I'm not going to get into great detail right now about all the different functions that you can do and showing you how those work. We're going to simply create some of the basic things that would be useful to you. So that first thing will be to add a title to your video clip. Okay, so the title means that the text is superimposed over your image, but I want to have a title that's going to start this video off. So I'm going into openers, and I'm just going to choose this one. You can check in the preview how it looks. Now for speed, I'm not going to change the title, but if we drag it down, it'll snap into the beginning of our video here. Okay, we double click on the text. So this is now showing us that it's turned up on this text ruler here. I'm going to double click on there. And here is where you can now edit what we have on screen, highlighting the text and putting in what text you would like to see. And then we can drag this to the center, and we can highlight the box, play around with the size of the box. What we can't do here is change the background, so you can click here on customize, but it doesn't give us the option to change that background. Whereas if we click on the text, it populates the side here, and we can change around with the color and borders and effects and such. If you want to change the font, you highlight what you want to change, and this box here with the drop down, and choose the font that you would like. So it's important before you start changing any of the elements that you are able to change that you check whether the backgrounds or other elements are editable or not. And if they're not, obviously you need to make sure that you're happy to do that. Here along the bottom you can see this is our background here. And then we've got our 2 layers of text, and we can change the length of time that the animations are on screen or take to animate in. So with these handles here that we can change the durations of. And that's it. So then press OK, and then we can preview, and that's how it comes up. So then the next thing I'm going to show you is, you might, if this is your piece to camera you filmed, you might want to trim a little bit off at the beginning. So in order to do that, I'm going to, you want to expand your view out a bit so you see things in a bit more detail, and then just play through till you find the bit that you want to. There, I'm going to want to start mine, let's say when I'm looking at camera, almost looking at camera and smiling. So you can either press this scissors here and make a cut, or you can see when the mouse changes to that bracket with a double arrow, I can pull the video in. But if you do that, you'll lose your reference point here that we've just created. So if you click the scissor icon, then it makes that cut. And then we want to make sure we highlight the clip we don't want. You don't want to make a mistake there, and then just put that into the bin. And then it snaps back to the right place. So I'm going to shrink this edit down again so I can see it all on one page. So that's how you make a cut. Then I'm going to create a transition here. So when you're going between two clips, you might want to put a nice transition in. That's this icon here, the double arrows, and there's lots of different styles of transition. So you can have a lot of fun playing around with these and seeing what they do. If you click one, don't forget you can always preview what that looks like. Find one that you like the look of. That's quite attractive. Oh, I like that one. That's called Evaporate 1. What's Evaporate 2 like? Okay, so one comes in, one goes out. I like the going out one. So I'm going to drag that down, and there it is. And let's play that in the preview. Lovely, like that. Okay, so now I might want to see here, I've got some text on screen. That's actually on the video that I've imported. Well, let's pretend that you might want to do that in this edit, which is totally reasonable. Let's go to this clip and say I want to put some text on screen here. So we go back into text, and we will choose the title so that it superimposes over the image. It looks fun. Let's have a go putting that one over. So then you just drag and drop, and it jumps straight into the text row here. And then double click it again, and we can edit. If you're familiar with using Canva, you might understand this. Sometimes when there are text boxes like this, it can be difficult to click on the right one. So here I'm just going to do test, 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 and then we can pull that box around to make it fit how we want it to fit. And then let's move that text box back up, and we can move this one around. But let's see, no, we can't customize this back end element. So what we're going to do now is move all of it to the top corner of the screen. This is a bit of a pain. It means we have to move each individual one, and I'm going to make them a bit smaller. I don't know, it looks like I'm wearing a crown. Look at that. I should leave that there. Title here to make this a bit smaller. Move that one up, make it center it over the top half of the circle. Make this one a bit, actually it doesn't need to be made smaller. I think it will be fine like that. There we go. And I'll leave my little crown there, shall I? And then at the bottom here we click OK. So when I recorded this originally, it didn't record the box out, which is what this is called, the box out. So I've had to re-record this little part of this tutorial video and slot it in the edit. So what I've created here is going to look different to what you're about to see during the rest of the video, which is the text that I had originally put over the screen. So ignore that. But now in this little clip, you'll see this much more fun version, which would have been nice if I'd done that first time round. Now there's all kinds of ways you can actually make this look even nicer, but let's not get into too much detail right now. But that's the basics. You can see me practicing getting my self ready for on-screen recording. So that's getting text over your video. The last thing I'm going to show you is adding some music. So you can choose all different kinds of music here. Let's choose a nice soft tender piece, and then you drag it down into one of these two different music options that you've got. You can see that the piece of music goes on longer than my edit. So I'm going to shrink the music from one side. So that basically I'm just cutting it from the beginning and then pulling it over, because what I want to achieve is I want to keep the ending of the music, because usually the ending is where is a more significant part of the music. And here it's not this end, it's this end here. We want where the actual music finishes. We want to line that up at the end of our video. And then we can expand the beginning to fit. It's much nicer if you have to edit a piece of music to keep the way the music tails off and have a cut at the start rather than the other way around. So that is it. We've added an opening title. We've made a cut, trimming the beginning of a video clip. We've added a transition. We've added a title over text, and we've added music. So when you're getting started, this is already quite a lot to get your head around. But once you've done that, then you just hit the export button here, and it will download into your files, ready for you to use. So how did you find that? I'm going to show you more details on how to use this in the coming weeks ahead, and I really would love to hear how you're getting on in the comments below. Bye for now.